Hi, and welcome to another edition of Your Health with Dr. Christy. My name is Dr. Christy Reisinger, and today I'd like to talk about loneliness. We know that social connection with other human beings really is a fundamental need, and we see that even with tiny, tiny babies, that even if you provide them with enough food and water and protection and shelter, that if you don't have that physical touch and connection with babies, that they'll die. And with adults, when patients don't have proper social connection and have a high degree of loneliness, they're at increased risk for Parkinson's disease, dementia, cancer, heart attacks, strokes, and even death. There really isn't any aspect of someone's health that isn't touched by loneliness. And researchers think the connection between loneliness and health is inflammation. Having a higher amount of loneliness increases stress, which then increases inflammation in the body, which then increases health risks, as I mentioned before. Earlier this year, the U.S. Surgeon General, Dr. Murthy, declared an epidemic of loneliness in the United States. And before you roll your eyes and sigh, I do agree with that. A recent Gallup poll in February 2023 of over 5,000 American adults showed that 25% of young adults 30 and younger felt lonely. And there are lots of other studies that have shown a connection between health and loneliness. But another recent study from the University of Glasgow of over 450,000 adults and following them for over a decade found that patients that never had a visitor and lived alone had a 39% greater risk of dying over the study period than those that received visitors every single day. Wow, that's just an incredible statistic. But the study found that even patients that just had a visitor one time a month dramatically decreased that risk of death. And one of the things I feel like I need to talk about is really it's not the quantity of friends that you have, it's really the quality of friends that you have. We know people that may have thousands upon thousands of friends on Facebook, but can still feel very, very lonely and very, very socially isolated. I think that's one of the things that this younger generation is really struggling with, is that they have so much digital interaction with each other, but no real social connection with one another. You know, picking up the phone and having a phone conversation or having a face-to-face visit is just becoming more and more rare. And also, as we're moving into the holidays, loneliness can really be something that people struggle with. I feel like one of the things that contributes to Americans' loneliness is just this thought that if someone is at all toxic in your life, you should absolutely just cut them out of your life forever. And yes, while that is true for some relationships, I feel like the message has gotten a little bit overblown. As a Christian, I feel that reconciliation and forgiveness must be a part of any relationship. We all behave badly sometimes, and moving towards another person, even when they've hurt you, can be so beneficial and so healthy. Now, of course, there are always those relationships that are abusive, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about relationships that have gone through a period of hurt where someone just needs to reach out. If you're watching my video and you're estranged or you haven't spoken with a friend or a loved one for a period of time, maybe this is your nudge to pick up the phone and reach out. I believe that we all should have 3 people that are close enough to call if something terrible or traumatic happens in our lives. You know, the ministry of presence can be so powerful when you've gone through something really awful. Even if you don't know what to say to somebody, just sitting with them and holding their hand can be such a powerful thing. During this holiday season, I pray that each one of you will be surrounded by friends and family. Thanks for joining me.